Very warm greetings to all my dear students. Till now we have learned about the classification of sectors on different bases. We have completed our first basis of classification on economic activity, and on the basis of economic activity we have classified economy into different sectors like primary, secondary and tertiary sector. We have seen the interdependence of primary sector, secondary sector and tertiary sector. So we have already seen the contribution of primary, secondary and tertiary sector in the economy. Now in today's class we will be dealing with another classification on the basis of employment, on the basis of condition of employment, and on the basis of condition of employment economy can be classified into two sectors. First, organized, another is unorganized sector. Let us learn about organized sector. Organized sector is a sector in which the terms of employment are regular. So people have assured work. Means organized sector is a sector in which the people have regular terms of employment. Organized sectors are registered by the government. They follow rules and regulations given in various laws established by government, like minimum wages law, industrial employment laws, etc., shop and establishment act, etc. Organized sector has some formal process and processes for recruitment or discontinuation of service of any employee whom they have employed. So organized sectors gives a security of job, provide regular payment, and at the time of employment the terms of conditions of employment is defined. Means when a person joins any of the organization under organized sectors, they are agreed upon terms. They are provided with appointment letter. Okay. Now, what are the benefits that a person gets if he got employed in organized sector? They get paid leave, payment during holidays. There is a provision of provident fund. It is a kind of a social security fund given by the government in which both employer and employee contributes, and they save some amount of fund for their future. Gratuity, it is given after a continuation service of at least 5 years. Medical benefits, workers get pension after retirement. These are the benefit of the employee if they are employed in organized sector. Let us learn about unorganized sector now. Unorganized sector is characterized by small and scattered units which are largely outside the control of the government. Means unorganized sectors are sectors which are not under the rules and regulations of the government. They are scattered, not a unified structure. There are rules and regulations, but these are not followed. Already government has defined rules and regulations for employment, but this is not generally followed in unorganized sectors. It is also considered as a low paid job, and the term of employment is not regular. You can derive from the picture shown over here that those who are working on a daily basis as a casual laborers, they are considered as unorganized sector. Here, no appointment letter is given, no paid leave is given, no benefits of medical facilities are given to the persons who are employed in unorganized sector. Now let us advantages from the employers. There is no provision for overtime, paid leave, holidays, leave due to sickness. If a person gets sick, he has to take leave, then he will not be paid for that particular day. Employment is not secure. For example, farmers work on their own and hire laborers as and when they require. Some people can also be asked to leave the job when there is no work. So there is no benefit like medical, PF and paid leave. So unemployed sector or unorganized sector's employment is almost considered, we can say that it can be considered as almost having no benefit jobs. Means the people are working, but the fact is most of the workers in our country are employed in unorganized sector. So what are the difference? Let us summarize the organized sectors and unorganized sectors in forms of tabular format, in which we will see the difference between organized and unorganized sector. The basis for comparison, the first basis is what is the meaning of organized and unorganized sector. The sector in which the employment term are fixed and employees have assured work in organized sector. The sector in which the employment terms are fixed and employees have assured work is organized sectors, where the working hour is also fixed. In terms of unorganized sectors, the sectors that comprises of a small scale enterprises or units are not registered with the government. Another basis is who govern these sectors. So organized sectors governed by various acts like Factories Act, Bonus Act, PF Act, Minimum Wages Act, Shop and Establishment Acts. Unorganized sectors, it is not governed by any act. Government rules are strictly followed in organized sectors and it is not followed in unorganized sector. The wages, in organized sectors the people get regular monthly salary. In unorganized sectors the people work in daily wages, on daily wages basis. In unorganized sectors the job security is not there. In organized sectors job security is there. Working hour in organized sector is fixed. In unorganized sector it is not fixed. In terms of overtime, if a person employed in if a person is employed in organized sectors, they are paid remunerations for overtime, and there is no such provision of overtime in unorganized sector. Organized sectors provide salaries as per the government rules, as prescribed by the government, and the person who is employed in unorganized sectors, they get less than the salary prescribed by the government. Contribution of provident fund by the employer is there in organized sectors, it is not there in unorganized sector. The benefits and prerequisite of employees get add-on benefits like medical facilities, pension, leave travel compensation, etc. when they are employed in organized sectors, and it is not provided in unorganized sector. Then the questions arise over here: how to protect workers in unorganized sectors when we know the fact that most of the people in our country are employed in unorganized sector. So what is the very requirement by the government end or any other agencies to protect workers employed in unorganized sector? We can say that there may be certain provisions that should be there in order to protect the workers in unorganized sector. The first one is setting up small scale industries in semi-rural areas. It will prove to be a very beneficiary. Setting up small scale industries in semi-rural areas will provide lot of job, will generate lot of job among the different sections of the people, and where it may be ensured that certain rules and regulations of government may be followed. Implementing many programs such as Manrega, where the government assures minimum wages for their employees. Creating opportunities in service sectors, especially schools, tourism, hospitals. Allow credit at a lower rate. Government has started a kind of a loan known as Mudra Bank loan or Mudra loan, we can say. There are different categories under which the people get loan from the government under Mudra Bank. Provision of unemployment allowances will also serve our purpose to protect the interest, to protect workers in unorganized sectors. Government can fix the minimum wage rate and working hours for everyone who are employed in organized and unorganized sectors and should be strictly followed. Government can provide cheap loans to the self-employed people. There are different provisions through which the people are getting loans nowadays, and as I have mentioned earlier about Mudra Bank, they are also providing loans to self-employed people at low interest rate or cheap loans. Okay, so in this way we can protect the interest of people who are employed in unorganized sectors. Now we will see another classification of sectors on the basis of ownership. On the basis of ownership, we can classify economy on two sectors, that is public sectors and private sector. Under public sector is the sections of the nation's economy which is under the control of government, whether it is central, state or local, is known as public sectors. The public sector is totally controlled by government. The main motive of establishing public sector is public welfare, not profit maximization. The ownership lies in the hand of government. When we discuss about private sectors, it means it is the sections of a nation's economy which owned and controlled by private individuals or companies. It is known as private sectors. The sections of nation's economy which owned and controlled by private individuals or companies is known as private sector. Here, the main motive of private sector is to maximize their profit. Private sector aims at maximizing their profit, not for social welfare. Now, let us learn in details the two sectors classified on the basis of ownership. Let us start first with public sector. Public sector is organized by government. It provides facilities to the workers like fixed employment, fixed working hours. Main aim is to provide public welfare. Examples of public sectors are Indian Railway, hospitals, parks, libraries, etc. Here, hospitals may be private or public, but those hospitals which are managed by government comes under public sectors. Some public services by the government are Indian Railways, postal services, hospitals and libraries. Public sectors provide facilities also for the private sectors. They are creating basis of private sectors. Means public sectors are the sectors which invest in those areas which help private sectors also to grow. Like let us take the example of HEC, Heavy Engineering Corporations, HEC in Hatia. HEC has been established to provide industrial equipment support to other industries. So public sectors is acting like a backbone for the private sector's industries. So public sectors has different aims. They are working for the welfare of the people. At the same time, they are providing the infrastructure for other sectors to grow on. Let us now learn about private sector. Private sectors organized by private individuals. Private sector does not provide fixed employment and fixed working hours to workers. The main aim of private sector is to make many profits for themselves. The main aim is to maximize their profit. Examples: there are different examples available like Birla, Reliance, and there are different type of banks. SDFC is a private sector bank. IDBI is a private sector bank having majority shares of private sectors, and also government has now IDBI bank has started as a private bank, but now it is converted into government bank. Kotak Mahindra, private sector bank. Axis, ICICI, they are private sectors bank, and other banks like SBI, Punjab National Banks, Union Bank of India, United Bank of India, all these are government sector bank or public sector banks. Now, what are the qualities of public sector? There is a job securities, generous benefits, more relaxed atmosphere for their employees, and at the same time they are focusing on providing the backbone or backbone services to the private sectors. So there may be some kind of loopholes in terms of working environment, but at the same time they are focusing more on social welfare. So they are investing their money in order to generate the services for other sectors. When we are talking about private sectors, the qualities of private sectors: more opportunities for promotion as the company grows. These jobs tends to pay higher. Means if a person is employed in private sectors and in a good company, then there is a chances that they get higher salaries, more prestige, and the private sectors is supposedly more efficient and there is less bureaucracy. Means the people are not going to linger their applications or their jobs, and there is a regular promotions in private sectors, but the term of employment is not so secured in private sectors. Public sectors people are having more security in terms of job. Now let us differentiate between public sectors and private sectors. The sections of a nation's economy which is under the control of government, whether it is central, state or local, is known as public sectors, and at the same time the sections of a nation's economy which owned and controlled by private individuals or companies is known as private sectors. What are the basic objectives? The public sector has got the basic objective to serve the citizens of the country, to provide social welfare, but for private sectors it is earning profit. Raises money from. Where the public sector raises money from? The public sector raises money from public revenue like tax, duty, penalty, etc. Private sectors earns or raises money from issuing shares and debentures or by taking loans. What are the areas in which the public sectors operates and what are the areas in which private sectors operates? Public sectors operates in the area of policing, army, mining, health, manufacturing, electricity, education, transport, telecommunication, agriculture, banking, insurance, etc. On the other hand, the private sectors operates in finance, information technology, mining, transport, education, telecommunications, manufacturing, banking, constructions and pharmaceuticals, etc. What are the benefits of working in public sectors and what are the benefits of working in private sectors? The benefits that a person gets while working in public sector are job security, retirement, benefits, allowances and various provisions like paid leave and PF, social security schemes. Nowadays in private sectors also, those who are good companies, they are also providing all these facilities like social security schemes like PF, pension, gratuities, but their amount is very less as compared to government. While working in private sectors, we can expect good salary package, competitive environment to grow and incentives, etc. The basis of promotion in public sector is seniority and in private sector it is merit or the ability to perform. Job stability is there in public sectors and it is not there in private sectors. So this was all about sectors of the Indian economy, where we have classified economy on three bases. First, on the basis of economic activities, on the basis of terms of employment and on the basis of ownership. That's all for this chapter. Thank you and have a nice day.